Hey, sis, hey, welcome to a new episode of That's My Sis, the one and only podcast for the resident loyal to a strong friend who is available for everyone else's problems, but hears crickets when her life is falling apart. Whether you're the strong friend in your high school crew, your church sisterhood, or the strong sister or daughter in your family, you will find space to be seen, heard, and celebrated for your strength, resilience, and tenacity while listening to That's My Sis podcast. Sis, this is your time to forget about being the answer for others, but instead to be refreshed, empowered, and encouraged through Christ Jesus. Sis, laugh, cry, and shout. That's my sis. Whenever you hear something that resonates with your soul. Today, we are talking about make what you do not know what you do know. Hey sis, welcome to another episode of That's My Sis with your host, Jasmine, aka the Queen of Inspiration. We are going to talk about today, make what you don't know what you do know. Sis, let me tell you, I have been in a place of reflection. Yes, this has been a year for me so far, but this first 6 months, 5 months of this year, that has put me in a place of reflection. And I did not count on, I've been saying this in all of my content, I did not count on me healing this much. And with me healing this much has come these moments where I'm realizing that I have made decisions off of deficit and not from a place of abundance. And when I think about these topics, I chose this particular topic because I wanted to bring you into a process that I have been going through for some years. I was at a stage in my business where I was starting to actually accept fees for coaching. Now, sis, let me tell you, there were many, many times where I was helping people, I was coaching people. They would call me, they would ask for advice, but I would never charge them a fee. I thought that because this was my gift, this was just something to do because the Lord gave it to me to do. I didn't realize that I could make a career out of this, that I could do this online, I could do this one-on-one sessions, our mentorship groups, and all the things that I'm starting to do. When I began to start offering coaching sessions, I would get all of these inquiries. I would always get these people reaching out, men and women alike, about helping them with relationship problems because I went by the relationship surgeon first. And I was always focusing on how to have a better relationship with God, self, and others. That's still one of my tags. That's the main thing that I do here. And when I was going through like talking to people daily and talking to people on social media and people friend of a friend of a friend would reach out or they would want to know like could I help them or help their daughter, help their son, help whomever. I would i would feel the weight of maybe there's a lot of things that I don't know. I don't know a lot of things about building a business or coaching people in a structured, formal way instead of this informal way that I have been doing it. I was realizing that people wanted me to help them with their relationship issues, their emotional and mindset matters, and their blockages and their spiritual stagnation, and just going through things theologically, right? Because I was always talking about the Bible, I was always breaking down scripture. And so I proved to those people in that community at that time as someone who was knowledgeable, which, truth be told, I am. That's not a lie. I am knowledgeable. But I felt this sense of there's a lot of things that I do not know. Since, let me tell you, since I was a little girl, there has always been people, whether they're my age or older, asking me what I thought. I was a little feisty thing. I was bold about what I did not like, or I was very vocal asking questions. I am a why girly, and I always would ask the question why. And because of me asking why, being around those who are older, listening in rooms more than I would speak in rooms, right? It's surprising. I do not talk as much as you may think I do. I don't. Now, when we be yapping, I'm yapping. But for the most part, wisdom has taught me to listen more, ask questions when things arise, but take a moment to process what I'm hearing. Since I've been a little girl, that's what I've been doing. And the gifts of wisdom and knowledge are two of my most matured gifts. As a mouthpiece for God, wisdom and knowledge really, really, really flow through me. Revelation flows through me. And when I'm thinking about where I'm at right now, making what I do not know, what I do know, it has taken me on this process of thinking of how I started coaching about 2016, 2017, more so, for a fee. And it was very scary to me because if you didn't know, let me tell you, I barely have worked a 9 to 5. Not that I didn't want one, just the way that my family dynamics was set up and just what I was allowed to do. I never really worked a job. I got my first job when I was 21 officially, right? Not babysitting, not, working at family members' daycares and things like that, but working a job where I had to interview for and fill out all the paperwork. I didn't get that job until I was 21. Sis, let me tell you, it has been one of the things that has caused me feeling like I'm operating from a deficit. I'm operating from behind, and you may be further ahead because you may have had a summer job. You may have had a job in high school. You may have had a job in college. But I have never been a corporate girly. I've never really had a real 9 to 5. I've worked at, stores. I've worked with kids and early childhood education, which are real jobs. But I'm saying, like, to build a career off of the thing that I'm gifted and talented and I really want to do, I have not done that. I have not done that. And as I've been like looking over my life in the last few months and things that, we've been talking about destiny and taking a leap of faith, and the Lord is talking to us, calling us, whispering to us, yelling at some of us, I'm also thinking about the things that I do not know. There are things that once I take leaps of faith, I don't know. And it is bringing me into a place of anxiety. Can we be honest here, sis? Let me tell you. Right now, I have been dealing with a lot of anxiety. I've been dealing with a lot of anxiety with the things that I do not know. I forget all the things I may know that I do know. I have only, I have only been focusing on, for the most part, the things that I don't know. And the Holy Spirit has just been talking to me about it's really not about this leap of faith in that gap of the things that you don't know. It's about accepting what you do know. Accepting what you do know. What do you know, Jasmine, about yourself? What do you know, strong friend, about yourself? What do you know about your relationship with God? What do you know about God in this moment? What do you know? And how are you able to take what you do know and close the gap for what you don't know? I realized that the little bit of college that I went to, the maybe like 2.5 years of college that I went through in a junior college, I never studied for business. It was sociology. It was English, it was psychology. But there's this draw and this pull that the eternal one has for me to do business. And now I'm finding myself in position of, if I don't know how to run a business, or if I have to shift my mind from being an employee to being the employer, to from being the one who is the servant to being the one who has to lead the vision and sustain it, then there's going to be this huge gap of what I don't know. And what am I supposed to do? The Lord is telling, we're having a conversation, but the Lord is bringing it up to us so that the things that we do not know, we have to be willing to close the gap. Sis, let me tell you, there have been many years where what I did not know, what I thought I should know, and what I refused to learn in terms of business, money, money management, I am now feeling the pressure, the weight, the the need to actually get into that place of concentration. Strong friend, I believe that we have spent a lot of time avoiding things that now, if you're going to leap, if you're going to answer destiny, if you're going to examine yourself and decide that you're going to obey the voice of the Lord that has always been ringing deep down on the inside, reverberating in your bones, you're going to have to be okay with closing the gap of what you have avoided to know and what you do know. And in that, the Lord will help us. Lord, help us to see that what we do not know is not more important than who we know. That is what I've been journaling, praying, thinking about, having conversations, sitting with, meditating on, is that I have focused so much, strong friend, about what will come after the leap because I'm proactive. I like to be proactive. I'm vigilant. That I've been focusing so much about what will come after this leap, what will come after my yes, what will come after my call to destiny, that I'm not realizing that whether I leap or stay here, whether I choose to be free or I choose to be bound, the one that I know, the one that has been calling me, the one that wants to see me win is Jehovah Nisi, Jehovah Jireh. It's Elohim, El Elyon. It is the creator of all things, and he is the one that I know. So when I'm thinking about this gap between what I do know and what I need to know, I can feel it until the information is presented to me or until I get the direction of where I'm supposed to go. I can feel it with learning more about the one that I do know. Because when you realize who you know, and that's even the people around you. Let's take it to like real tangible people. The people that you do know in your life, they have a well of knowledge. They have what you need. That's why God put them in your life right now. You don't realize that when we focus only on what we do not know for the next, we do not pay attention to what we have access to for the now. There are so many people. I won't say so many, but there's at least 5 people in my life that there is a well of knowledge that they could give me affirmation, advice, just a listening ear that will help close the gap between what I don't know, what I do know, and who I know. And because I have been following the Lord, because you have been following God, you've been trying your best to follow purpose for your life. You've been trying your best to be free, to be whole, to be strong in who you always meant to be. Then God is walking with you. So you know him. You don't know him, you know of him. And it's about time for you to begin to know him. When I'm thinking about this summer and the things that I'm going to be doing this summer, when I'm thinking about what happened in winter, what happened in fall, what happened in spring, when I've been thinking about my life this year of 35, when I've been thinking about this year of 35, I've been realizing that I have been discounting who I know. Not just God, but the people, the friends, the acquaintances, the people that I know, because they are a reflection of what God has been doing in my life, what he wants to do in my life, what he's going to continue to do in my life. And I have to get all of the information from them that is necessary. Lord, help us, help us to open our ears, open our eyes, settle our spirit to focus on who have you strategically put around us while we're like double dutch when we were kids, while we're waiting to jump in, while we're waiting for the shift, while we're waiting for the next. Tell me what you think about me. and what gap you're trying to close based on who you have around me. Lord, help us to see that you have put people around us in this time period of our life, in this mind frame, in this paradigm that we're in and we're about to shift. But like y'all like to say, the quantum leap that you're about to take, you put these people around us because there are pieces of them, there are pieces from them that you have put for us to take to the journey for the next part of the journey. I have been asking the Lord to help me understand, why have I been connected to certain people for so long? Why am I connected to these people? Because there's been so many things that I needed help with. There's been so many times where I'm like, how do I build this business? How do I follow purpose? How do I do this? And I have these people around me and they have careers and they have money and they have these different things. And I'm like, they're not helpful to me. But the Lord is like, no, no, no. What you thought that you needed to know, you don't need to know that. But who you know have some key answers to what and who you need to become in the next season. There is a relationship in my life right now that if I would overlook this relationship for what it is, not for not making it what I want to be, for what it has actually taught me a lot about the wealth that is locked inside of me. It's taught me about my worth, my way of thinking. It has taught me about it a lot. And I was looking for coaches and gurus. I was looking for all these things, but not realizing that God had implanted how to really be an entrepreneur, how to be a go-getter in a relationship that was starting and has started to feel oppressive. Who do you have around you? Because what you're trying to know can be found in who you know. That'll preach. Listen. I'm realizing, right? A lot of realizations. You're going to hear me say this because I'm really in a place of growing right now, and I'm just taking you along with me. I'm starting to realize that I have to truly relinquish what I think that I know to receive sight for what I couldn't see before. That'll preach. We have to relinquish what we think we know. I remember growing up, being a teenager, right? You were a teenager and you really think that you got it all going on. Like you like, I know my feelings. I know what I want to do. And you really think that you know. You were like, I know. Like when your parents were like, don't do this. No, I know, I got this. My friend's cool. But then you find out like you get in certain situations and it's the he said, she said, they said, or you go to a party and that person leave you for a dude or for a girl, or things happen and you realize what you thought you knew about situations and a person, you really don't know. That's what I'm learning. I'm learning is that I've been holding on to all of the information that I've garnered over the years in coaching, in business, in learning people, and learning about building community. And I'm understanding that God is asking me to relinquish what I think I know so that I can see what I have not seen before. Perfect example when it comes to creating content, when it comes to writing books, when it comes to, mentoring and the things that I'm doing, when it comes to even singing, right? Just being a singer, I have realized that I have avoided training my voice, not just with a vocal coach, but training my voice, practicing. I have avoided it because I was so ashamed with naturally having the gift of singing and the talent of singing and there were just so many things musically I don't know. Like I know the scales. I know, like, time signature. I know these things. Now, do I know them? No, but I know them, right? I have taken classes. I've been in music classes. I've done the things, and I still couldn't find out. I just didn't understand the connection, or what was disconnecting for me to not be able to sing or utilize my voice the way that I want to. And I've come to terms with, in these last couple of years, the Lord has been telling me to use my voice, train my voice, start singing again more regularly, and treating my voice as something that He gave me and He wants me to use. And as I am doing that, I am realizing that there's been many, many times that I've avoided making what I didn't know, what I didn't know, because I didn't want to feel rejected by my own voice. I didn't want to feel abandoned by my purpose. Like, I know you're like, what? How can they do that? Because sometimes you don't want to feel, sometimes you just don't want to feel. Sometimes you don't want to feel that you're not good enough. Sometimes you don't want to feel like you're intellectually immature. Sometimes you just don't want to feel like all of the work that you've been doing and you've been trying to do all this time will not amount to anything. And I've been realizing, I've been reflecting and thinking about it as I've been doing this podcast and living life. I've been realizing that I have avoided many things because I've been sticking to what I know. Like, oh no, I know that. I know vocal this. I know that. Oh, I know that, I'm an alto. I know that I like to sing tenor. I know this. But the Lord is like, can you relinquish what you know? Because I'm trying to show you certain areas in this particular gift that I want you to focus on. I want you to focus on. I want you to work on. I want you to stretch yourself in. So, how do we make all of what we do not know what we do know? One, you have to be willing to focus on who you do know, and that is the Father. You know Him, He knows you. That's what I really want you to focus on. Focus on the fact that you know that God is calling you and asking you and requiring of you to utilize everything that you are right now. Not everything that you are for other people, but everything that you are for His kingdom, everything that you are for His plan, everything that you are for your life. He's asking you to tap into that. So focus on who you do know. So I know there is a gap in what the things that you don't know. You don't know what's going to happen if you leave your job and go to the next one. You don't know what's going to happen if you leave that relationship and go and become single and live your life. You don't know what's going to happen if you move away from where you're used to living. You don't know what is going to happen if you say you're married and you say, yes, I want to have children? You don't know what's going to be on the other side, but you do know that the person, the Godhead, the Elohim, the creator of all, you do know that He is on this side with you, and He's in the middle with you, and He's on the other side. Second thing that we have to do to close the gap of what we do not know and what we do know is you have to understand that everything in your life, every person, every place, every experience is strategic. It has strategy. It has wisdom. They have something for you so that you can take it with you on your quantum leap, on your leap of faith, right? Whatever you want to call it. Stop discounting what you already have access to. Stop discounting what you already have possession of. And third, in order to close this gap, to make what you don't know, what you do know, you have to be willing to relinquish what you think you know. Read some books. Listen to some other people talk. Hush your mouth. Be quiet. Something that the Lord had me do in the last couple of days is that I told the Lord, if you know the Mahalia Jackson story, she said she ain't singing. No, she was like, I ain't singing for nothing else, no other music but gospel. And I have set that my face as a flint like that for many, many decades. Like I'm singing only for Jesus. But with this transition that's going on in my life, the Lord was like, hey, I want you to begin to open up to other genres of music. And one of the genres is jazz. My sister had made a comment about something, um, the different types of music, whatever. And she was like, you should look into jazz. I was like, hmm. And I'm like, I'm jazz, Jasmine, jazz, but I've never thought about singing jazz. And I asked the Lord within the last couple of days, like, hey, am I able? Are you okay with that? And I know you like, girl, it ain't that deep, but it was. When I make a vow to God and a commitment to God, I makes it. I keeps it with all the S's at the end. I keeps it. I makes it. And I really was like, Lord, are you okay with me exploring jazz? So that's what I've been doing. That's what I'm going to do over the next few months, the next year, is seeing if what I've been trying to make work in gospel, I might be able to make it work in jazz. Might be able to make it work in soul music. Might be able to make it work not really much so R&B, but R&B alternative. Like what you do not know, what you think you know, what you think you can acquire. You can relinquish that and you can begin to search, research, and do something else. Sis, that'll preach, bro. That's a sermon right there. And I'm just the messenger. Well, thanks for listening to That's My Sis. Thank you for joining me for another episode. Thanks for listening to That's My Sis. Subscribe, comment, rate, and share. Stay connected and follow at Strong Friends United on Instagram or follow me personally at I am Jasmine Lanise on all platforms or Jasmine Lanise on YouTube. Join our community at patreon.com/. That's My Sis podcast. Be a founding delegate of the United Nations of Strong Friends, where we can grow, unlearn, and relearn how to leave survival mode and to thrive in purpose, identity, favor, and the abundance for as little as $3 per month. Sis, thanks for listening to That's My Sis podcast with your host, Jasmine Lanise, aka the Queen of Inspiration. I hope that you really enjoyed as I shared from my heart about making the things that I do not know the things that I do know. We talked about closing the gap of what we don't know and realizing that what we do not know can be filled by the people that we do know, what we already have access to, and relinquishing what we think we know. So for us to receive and to see what we have not seen before. Sis, head on over to my link tree at linktree.com/Jasmine Lanise Men and see all of the wonderful things that I have going on. You can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok at I am Jasmine Lanise. Until next week, sis, it's Jasmine Lanise signing off. Be bold, be you, be free. Bye.